I change up these irrigation systems pretty much every year until I can figure out the way that I like it the most. I felt like a genius when I first discovered it because I was like, oh, I don't have to move the sprinkler every 20 minutes or whatever. I don't have to get out there and do it manually every day. Their parts are getting a little bit more expensive than they used to be, but it works pretty dang good. This whole thing started, I made a trip to Home Depot today, and right here you can see I got the inline dripper, the compensator. Let's see, there's a half count. See, this is where I got confused. I made a big mistake. See that pressure compensating button dripper? That's what you want. It's 2 gallons per hour, which is too much for the ground ones. I think 1 gallon per hour would have been perfect. But I was thinking I'd put the 1 gallon per hour on the ground tobaccos and the 2 gallons per hour in big pots, and I screwed up because I did not get the same device. I hate these. I've used these a million times, and I feel like they just suck. You have to run them for a long time. There, see, that's the one, the inline dripper. Don't get that. Don't get that. Get that regulator, the green one that I posted. All it takes is a cheap piece of hosing here, 50 feet of it. I'm going to link to a 200-foot spool. It's really easy peasy, okay? You can get these 10 packs, 100 packs. You're going to have to figure it out. And if you make mistakes, it's always a good idea to have some goof plugs, and I'll kind of introduce that and how you use it later. I'm going to get some in case I need them. It turns out I didn't end up needing them today. I did need these. I hate spending $5 on it. I think it's too much, and there's probably a much cheaper, easier solution. And the timers. I started out with a 1-zone timer similar to this. It lasted me 1 season before I realized I need a lot more. Now, what sucks about Home Depot is for some reason the 2 and 4 zone Bhyve timers are not anywhere near all the other irrigation products. They're over in the garden section. Fine. This is the one I use. I love it. It's battery powered, and the batteries easily last the whole season. I've used this one before too. It's okay, and I will tell you up front, when the cold season comes in, pull it in, because if there's any moisture in it at all, it will freeze, it will break, it will pop. And I've repaired them before, but the repair doesn't last long. So, also I did notice they had a much larger soaker hose than I'm used to. I've never used one this big before. I'm kind of tempted to give it a try somewhere else in the garden, but for today, I'm just going to stick with my drip lines, and we'll see how that goes. Also a huge fan of this. If you plug one of these in right on the faucet, put your timer on one side, right there, off and on, off and on. Put your timer on one side, and then you got your regular garden hose on the other side. So you can put, your whole garden on a timer with one of these on all the time, and then just keep your regular hose on the other side. I can't believe I got out of there for $25. That's got to be like a new record. I got to run before they yank me back in there to go buy some cool toy. I'm gonna do a video on these later. I love them. They're so versatile. 1 gallon per hour, the 2 gallon per hour, the goof plugs, the wire, and the clamps there. This is my setup on the timer. I've got a regulator, I've got a filter, I've got a back pressure regulator, and we run that normal black hose, which is I believe a 3/4. You can buy it in like 500-foot rounds at Home Depot for like $40. This is an example of how we're using it elsewhere. These are those drip lines I'm using, and they're okay. I'm not convinced they're putting out enough water yet, but they do work. I have collected a lot of parts over the years, and I need to get a toolbox to kind of sort and organize them all. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this sprinkler off because I don't like it. I need to redo that whole watering system. I thought about cutting it off, and then I realized if I work really hard and try to break it off, I might be able to save, I might be able to save the threading attachment. It took a little bit of sweat, but eventually, believe me, I did get it. I did save the $1.99 part. Got it. Now the next step you want to do is take your wife's favorite clippers and cut that thing off. Let's start over with a fresh start. This is just a regular plug. Put that at the end of the hose. Keeps the water from going everywhere. Pretty easy. You just squeeze these suckers on. Now for this project, I did forget. I've got the 2 gallon. That's the correct part. We want those for sure. I also bought the 1 wrong gallon, which you'll see later why it's wrong. But these guys are super easy. You can actually just press them on with your fingers. If your fingers start to get sore after doing 100 of them, you can just grab some needle nose pliers to help it. Or I've even used a lighter. I've heated up the tube with a lighter, which makes it really soft and malleable, and just squeezed it in. I did not buy this today at Home Depot because I already have 2 of them. That's just a little hole punch that you're going to use on a 3/4 inch hose to be able to plug, well, either the goof plugs, like these guys, or the joints, which I'll show you here in a second. We got our loop stakes. I'm going to use one on each one of the emitters. So I got the first one on, as you saw. I'm gonna mount it into place. I'm gonna find the length that I want, give it a quick snip, and then here's the part that I forgot to show you at the Home Depot. These connectors here are what join your 1/4 inch into the hole that I'm gonna punch in with the blue hole punch. It's really simple. They almost never leak, and if they do leak, you can usually kind of move it around a little bit, or even just let it sit out in the sun and they kind of melt to each other. But it's super easy. Just boop, watch this. Dunk. Done. Pull it out. Then we'll take that barbed piece, and right there. DIY irrigation. Piece of cake. It took me, I think, about a half an hour, maybe a little bit less. Some of it's because I've done it 100 times. Some of it because it's not finished. What I can do is I'm going to come back later and I'm going to fasten the wires probably to each other with zip ties or something so they can't get snagged. They're fairly safe under the deck, but they're kind of unsightly. So I want to press them down so they're kind of hidden, and then this weekend when I come back and throw fresh bark in, I'll just cover them all up. And at least then you really won't notice them at that point. So right now it's really utilitarian, and the only reason I'm doing it this way is so you can kind of see the idea and the theory behind it. Is kind of worth making note of here is I have 4 plants buried in the ground that are going to get, well, in theory 1 gallon per hour, but I totally screwed up and you'll see how. They're going to get 2 gallons per hour, and then I got 3 plants in the raised pots that are getting 2 gallons an hour. So that's 7 plants times 2 gallons per hour. There is a risk of having a water pressure issue. Super easy. You can set it just to go off at regular intervals. You can tell it how long, how often, or you can just do a manual one. And whenever I'm setting up a new irrigation line, whether it's a sprinkler or a drip line or whatever, I always do a manual test real quick. Oof. Remember when I said that I got the wrong piece? Yeah, that was not the right regulator there, or pressure compensator. These are inline for drip systems. This is a totally different piece. That green one that I got, that's the one I want. I just got it the wrong GPH. Well, now that everybody's been thoroughly overwatered, including myself, I think I fixed that problem. Live and learn, but take a look. It's looking better. You have a really nice controlled drip here. That's the 2 gallon per hour one. I don't know. I might swap them out. I might just see how it goes. I got a whole nother issue. I'll deal with that later. I think I'm probably gonna attempt eggshells first, but I'll do a short on that. It's really only affecting the lower ones, but if we go up to the pot, this will have to run for quite a while. I might have to do 2. So we'll see how it goes, but they don't like being overly watered from the top. You know, they want to be rooted or watered at the roots. That one kind of seems like it's giving a little bit more water than that other one too. And that could be a water pressure issue. But you can see, look how much moisture we've got in here already. So we'll see as everybody's roots go deep, since I have tomatoes and tobacco in here, or as I call it, my tobacco pots. See, and this one's still retarded, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments there. This one's doing pretty good. That's fine. That one's fine. Yeah, I know. I need to bark the whole thing. I will. We'll put down fresh bark this weekend. So admittedly, the parts definitely cost a little bit more than they used to. I still think it's worth it because I spend a lot less money on water doing it like this. I got to dial a little bit. I am using the drip lines in my wife's flower beds and vegetable garden, and I'm not convinced that that's giving enough water, whereas these now are giving off too much water. But the solution might be an additional drip line. I've got like 4 per box now. Maybe I go to 5. I'll figure it out. It's live and learn. I'm just going to watch everything. And since we're really enjoying this, it's no problem to come out and check it twice a day. We check it every morning before work because it's nice to spend some time in the garden with a cup of coffee anyways. And we usually check it in the afternoon like I'm doing right now. It's Thursday. Here I am. I'm out working in the garden. So anyways, I hope that helps. If nothing else, learn from my mistakes.